Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Eric here, Future Knight, back with another deck profile, one that's very overdue. Today we are going to be profiling our Mermail, Atlantean, deep sea water, our water deck profile. And in today's deck profile, there's a little bit of spice, just a little bit of fire in the form of Infernoble, which I've implemented into the deck. Now, what to say about the deck? I have had some success with it at a local level. I came first place last week Saturday, I believe, at my locals. And then last week Sunday, I dropped, I believe, one game against Altergeist, and I drew against Unchained, which reminds me, this deck is very, very, very powerful against meta decks. Aldlich, Dragon Link, those decks aren't really an issue with this deck. The problem comes with rogue decks, such as Dragon Maid and Unchained. It has a very rough matchup against those decks, and that's what requires you to side well, so that you can combat those rogue decks. Shoutouts before we get into it. Shoutouts to Byron for helping me theorycraft most of the deck, if not all of it. Shoutouts to Robert for also giving me some hints here and there and giving me some ideas for the deck. And yeah, shout outs to everyone who has played against this deck. I know it's cancer. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. This is the main deck first. This deck profile will be relatively quick. Reason being is I actually want to get to the combos using the Infernoble cards, which is the more sought after part of this deck profile. The rest of the deck is pretty stock standard. So to start, we obviously play 3 Bay. My second favorite normal summon, I prefer the Neptibus normal summon over the Deep Sea Diva, because the Neptibus can just play around hand traps against bad players. So players that don't know what to hand trap when will hand trap the Neptibus and you'll still go full combo. It doesn't really make a difference. But yeah, these are obviously the best cards in the deck, being able to get your entire engine started. Yeah, not much else to say about those. We'll just move them up there. We're then obviously playing the 3 Dragoons. Please excuse the dirty card sleeves. This last weekend we were hitting temperatures of around 37 degrees Celsius. So it was very, very hot and my hands get very, very sweaty. And I'm sure the rest of the players at those tournaments' sleeves also look like this, because it was just insanely hot. 3 Deep Sea Minstrel, not much to explain here. So this is pretty much the water package, the bare bones basics. If you wanted to just play this with a couple of other tuners that I'll get to later in the deck profile, you could do so, and then you could pretty much do all the combos I'm going to show later on. So that's the water section of the deck. Moving over to the Mermails, we have the 3 Abyss Teus, the 1 Abyss Pike, and the 1 Abyss Stein. I still like the Abyss Stein. Now, reason being is, okay, a lot of people actually cut this entirely, and I was thinking about it, but the thing is, at the end of the day, this is just another body that I can get on board. And the combo that we do in this deck, you have a huge reliance on Link Rebo, because Link Rebo is a monster that can be linked with. All right, the link cross tokens cannot be used for link materials. Now, if you cannot get access to a Link Rebo, any other body will suffice, which means just generic extenders and bodies that you can throw on the board make up for that lack of the Link Rebo. Yes, you'll end on a level 1 token that just sits there, which isn't ideal, but you can at least still get to your 3.5, technically 4 card hand loop with your negate and your pop. So yeah, we're still playing the Abyss Teus and then the Abyss Stein. The reason I play the Abyss Stein over the Abyss Gunday is because if you draw this and Diva, say for chance, and you have another water monster, you can discard your water monster, special the Abyss Teus, add the Abyss Stein, summon the Abyss Stein, then you can link the 2 straight away into a Phoenix, and then you can bait out any back row essentially. If they negate it, it's fine, because then you normal the Diva and you still have full combo. It just baits out against those pesky back row decks, the negates and the spells and traps that they have set. So that's the reasoning behind that. The Abyss Spike is technically the best card we can add off Abyss Teus if we don't have our normal summon. It's not, I don't know, it's not great, but it is what it is. It does it does something other than the other Mermail monsters, which all have like wacky, weird requirements. So yeah, so this is the Mermail package. I have thought about playing Megalo, potentially Megalo by himself without his spell, just for that discard. Basically, he's a 4th minstrel, but that's a body. But then I was thinking playing him without an equip card is silly. So, but then you've got technically a brick in the deck. He isn't a brick because he's a water, so you can get effects off of your other water monsters. But the scale is a huge brick, and drawing this hurts a lot. But yeah, that's something for another day. Then moving on to our powerful one, we've got the Mooling Glacier, the Elemental Lord. This is what makes the entire combo possible, which strips 2 cards out of our opponent's hand. Very, very powerful. Huge body. If he leaves the field, we lose our battle phase, which in one of the combos that does potentially happen. You can avoid it, but then you won't get the rip too. But yeah, so just an insane card. And then we play 2 Ouroborea now, opposed to the one that we were originally playing. Now, this is much, much more important because you need a copy of Ouroborea in your deck to search off of your Roland in the end phase. If you do not have a warrior to search in the end phase, you cannot resolve the Roland, and therefore you cannot resolve your Charles. So this is very important. I was thinking about bumping this up to 3. However, I am playing the reinforcement of the army just as a ash bait. So you plonk down the reinforcement and then ash it because, I mean, it's a powerful one-off. So I might switch that up and cut the reinforcement and put in a 3rd Ouroborea. But for now, I'm liking the 2 Ouroborea, Water, Tuna Extender, level 3, which does come up. Very, very cool. We're playing the 2 Lapis Dragon. I've explained this plenty in previous deck profiles. You need to, in case you draw the 1. We play 2 Heavy Infantry. This is the same idea as the Teus. It just gets a body, and then you can get another body on board, and you can bait out certain cards. Also, its pop effect does come up like with a Teus in hand or a Minstrel in hand, so it is quite relevant. For our Tuna package, we are playing the Mecha Phantom Beast, Coltwing, and the Plague Spreader Zombie. I love seeing these cards in my hand. It's so great. On Sunday, I drew this card, and I'm not joking. I drew this card in every single opening hand, in every single match. Okay, not once in a match or 1 of 3 games. No, every single game I drew this card, and I kept track. I had a tally on the side. We played 5 rounds. 3 of my rounds went to game 3s, so that's 9 games, right? And then 2 of my games only lasted 2 games, so what, that's 13 plus minus games. I drew this card every single game, and then I got really unlucky in 1 or 2 games and drew both of these together, so that was fantastic. But this card evades my hand a lot more. This card sticks to my hand. But it doesn't really matter. In our combo, there is a way of getting the Plague Spreader out of our hand so that we have it for later on the combo. Drawing both hurts quite a lot because it means you have to sort of shotgun the Plague Spreader Zombie, which you don't really want to do because you need the space on your board. But it is still playable if you draw both. Then for our level 1 extenders, shout out to Byron for putting me onto this. I'm not sure if I was playing this in my last deck profile. This is just incredible, being able to plonk this down and then normal the diva, and if they hit the diva, you still have full combo. Essentially, like I said, bare bone minimum, you need a way to get into Link Rebo and a Tuna, and then you have full combo. If you can't get into the Link Rebo, you need 3 bodies, with one of them being a Tuna, obviously, for your Needle Fiber combo. This is insane. Byron was also telling me about a cheeky spice that he would cut the Mermail package for. He would cut the Mermail package, and then he would put in maybe 2 or 3 Wear Off Thous, and then 3 of the Jester card that summons itself if there isn't a copy of itself already on the board. So what you do is then you can either special summon that, or you can special summon that horror, use Wear Off Thou, and then search your Neptibus, and then you can get your play started. I do see Neptibus and Diva in my hand enough times that I don't think it's necessary at the moment. It might become something viable at a later stage. Reason being is, if you normal summon the Neptibus, right, and activate Wear Off Thou, and add the Adara, it doesn't matter, it's dead, because the Adara can't summon itself because you've now got an effect monster. So you have to add the Jester. So if you normal the Neptibus, send his cost, add the Dragoons, and then they ash the Dragoons, and you have no way of extending your play there, the Way of that isn't as powerful because you're adding a Jester. Yes, you'll have 2 bodies on the board, which you can technically go into Dragoons, but we're not playing Dragoons in this deck anymore because the bricks that it runs hurt the deck a lot. So in that case, if I were to play Dragoons, I would definitely suggest trying out this package, and I might myself try out this package, but for now I'm just liking the 3 Adara as level 1 tuner extenders. Hand traps, not really much to explain. Generic and the best hand trap in the game. Gamma on the normal summon of almost anything in the game at the moment stops their plays unless they just have crazy extenders. Ash Blossom is just a generic good tuner as well as hand trap, so not much to explain there. Now for the spice, we obviously play the 1 Smoke Grenade of Time Thief, making the Infernoble combo possible. The Guard card, 1 for 1. Just a little bit of Ash Bait as well as an extender. E-Teleport extender. And then we're still playing the 2 Deep Sea Aria. The 2 Deep Sea Aria I'm feeling a bit iffy about. I might cut them and maybe even just chuck in the Way of Thous for the Adara play. Or maybe 2 Pot of Avarice just to get some recycle potential in here, because the deck does run out of steam very, very quickly. It goes through almost its entire extra deck in 1 combo. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main deck. Moving on to, let's do this, yeah, let's do the extra deck actually. Okay, cool. For our extra deck, we're playing the Calamities combo. Just in case, this is more of a backup combo against particular decks that aren't very, I suppose, a lot of the decks right now are a mixture of back row and a mixture of monster, mainly monster, but this doesn't affect back row decks. It doesn't stop Altergeist, it doesn't stop decks that can rely on their back row until they can get through the negation effect. So it's a good combo. I definitely still want to play it, but it's not as powerful as it used to be. Now we're obviously playing the Charles, absolutely insane card. Barload Savage Dragon. We play 2 Roland, and I will show you why in the combo section of this video. It's very strange that we're playing 2, but the reason I play 2, I can tell you now, is that you don't want to end on a board of tokens, because tokens make evenly so much more impactful. So I will show when we get to the combo why I'm playing 2 Roland. We play 1 Herald. There is a way to make this in the combo, but it does require an Adhara in hand. I'll show the combo like I said, but there are many other ways to make this. You can like normal summon Infantry, normal summon Diva. If you have no targets for Diva late game, you can just go straight into the Herald. It's just a good tuner to have access to. Martial Metal Marcher, Borrow Swordfire Dragoons out, Aerodon for combo, Needlefire for combo, Phoenix actually quite important. Sometimes you need to make space on your board, so you need a generic Link 2, and Phoenix is that option. Blocker, combo, Link Rebo, combo, sometimes not, like I said, if you have an extender, and then Link Cross for the combo, and then we play the 5 tokens. For our side deck, this will change probably straight after this video. We play 3 Lance here for the invoked Eldritch players at Nexus. Not much to explain there. We are playing, okay, that's the spice, so we'll get to that just now. We're playing 2 Ghost Ogre to switch out our Gammas for going first, as well as, this is the spice, we're playing 2 Gizmic Akamai. The dreaded Deluge Dragon. This card is the most, I think, underrated side deck card in the game at the moment. Every Gizmic is insane, in my opinion. I think they're absolutely crazy, but this is just a whole nother level. You basically let them go first, right? If you top deck this, or if they don't hand loop you against Infernobles, you special this. You're either popping their board, or you're baiting out a negate. If you're baiting out that Barload Savage negate, you still have a 2950 body that you can potentially tack over something. It's insane. I don't know why. And going first, as soon as you get 2 extra Ek monsters, you can just plonk this down as an extender. It's insane. I don't know why people aren't on this. This is a 90-cent card. I mean, a lot of YouTubers and Yugi tubers are the reason for buy-its, and obviously I'm not that huge of a Yugi tuber, but if you have access to these, if you can get a hold of these, do it now, because I have a feeling this card will be popping its head up in a lot of future formats. The Dark Ruler no more. These were put in the main at one point, but I prefer the Ash Blossom. Thing is, against Infernoble, I'd rather have the Ash or the Gamma to try and stop them from looping, when in actual fact, if I had this in hand, they just take it out of my hand anyway, and then I have to rely on the top deck. So side deck, probably where they should be. 3 Cosmic, it makes sense. Don't play Twin Twisters. Twin Twisters is bad this format. Even against Rogue. I mean, against Unchained, you Twin Twister them and they get like 10 pluses. It's ridiculous. So play Cosmic. And then the last 2, Hobby's Feather Dust and Red Reboot. These don't need much explaining. This beats Altergeist, and I haven't resolved this yet since it's come off, but hopefully one day I will. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the main side and extra. The rest of this video will be a combo tutorial on how to do the Infernoble and how to do some other spicy combos. Alright guys and girls, check you now. Welcome ladies and gentlemen to the combo portion of this deck profile. The first combo I will be showing, I'll probably be showing 2 or 3 combos. But the first combo I'll be showing is the Infernoble, the basic combo that you'll be doing with this deck. Most of these combos revolve around the Deep Sea Diva normal summon. Obviously, there are alternative ways you can get to these end boards using various other cards, but it's just for simplicity's sake, we'll be using the Deep Sea Diva normal summon. So, normal summon Deep Sea Diva. We'll special summon our Neptibus. No effect on summon, it's an ignition effect. Ignition effect, we'll send Dragoons as cost. Add Dragoons. Dragoons in a new chain will add us a Sea Serpent, adding us our Minstrel. We will then discard our Minstrel and our Dragoons. Now, Minstrel will be its own chain, so Minstrel will then rip the card, and in a new chain, Dragoons will trigger. I myself thought that it was chain link 1 Dragoons mandatory, similar to how it works with Teus, and then Minstrel chaining 2, but it's actually 2 separate chains. So you'll rip the card, Dragoon's effect will trigger, adding us our Mooling Glacier. Now from here, we'll link 1 into our Link Reaver, and then link 2 into our Needlefiber. Needlefiber's effect will special summon our Plague Spreader. Alright, then from here, let me actually just bring this down a little bit. Cool. Then from here, we'll link 1 into our Link Cross. Now, if you're paying attention, summon out our 2 tokens. If you're paying attention, we now actually have 6 waters in grave, so we cannot resolve our Mooling Glacier. But it doesn't matter because we go into our Borrowed Savage later on, which will then equip the Hulky Firebrax, bringing us back down to 5 waters. That is also relevant because the Borrowed Savage target for its negate and attack boost, the best target will actually be the Hulky Firebrax. So it's not even like it's you're getting less of negates or less of attack by choice. It's just because this is the best target. From here, you'll tribute 1 token for your Link Reaver. Then you will synchro for 3 into our Martial Metal Marcher. Martial Metal Marcher's effect. At this point, you can special summon any of the 2 level 2 tuners. It has to be a level 2 tuner though. So, in the case that you draw Plague Spreader Zombie, which is what I'll show now, you special summon back the Diva. And this is why it doesn't really matter, because then you link the Link Reaver and the Link Cross into your Barricade Borg blocker. At this point, you can use Barricade Borg's blocker effect and then discard the Plague Spreader. So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which one you summoned, or if you drew the Plague Spreader, because you're still getting it into the grave. We'll then link 3, the 2 machines, into our Rawdon, and then a Rawdon's effect, summoning out our 3 tokens. Right, from here you'll synchro for 5 into our Roland. Okay, very important. Don't forget to declare Roland's effect. I've had it many times where I've forgotten to declare Roland's effect and then I miss the effect in the graveyard. So you have to declare activation of effect on summon. I don't believe it's mandatory. Yeah, you can activate this effect. It's not mandatory, so you have to declare. So declare Roland's effect. From here, you'll use Auroradon to pop the 2 tokens. Notice how I'm not moving them because you're going to summon the Coltwing, which summons the 2 tokens back anyway. From here, you will synchro for 8 into your Barload Savage. And like I said, Barload Savage will then attach the Hulky Fibrax. Now, this is where the combo gets a little bit different. If you had an Adara on field, and you opened it, and you specialed it before your Diva normal summon, what you'd want to do here is you want to go Plague Spreader's effect engrave, putting back a random card in your hand. You'll have 5 cards. It should be fine to summon back the Plague Spreader. Then, the Plague Spreader and the Coltwing, which gains 3 levels for every token, for every Mecha Phantom Beast token you have. This is level 7, this is 2, that equals 9. The Plague Spreader will obviously get banished, and you'll summon out your Charles. Then what you can do is use your last token and the Adara to go into your Herald. Okay, but if you don't have the Adara on field, you're basically, if you just go straight into the Charles using the Roland and the Coltwing, you'll end on a token. Now this is problematic because if they have evenly matched and they manage to bait out your Savage Dragon, when they activate the evenly matched, you have to keep the token. Now I don't like that. I don't like sitting on a token that my opponent can somehow use against me using the cards that they already have. So you would have to, if they do go, you know, standby, main, battle phase, then you know they've got the evenly. You can say, before you enter battle phase, you can use your Roland, and you can pop your own token, and then you can potentially keep the Charles or the Savage Dragon with its negate. So that is a way of playing around it, but it isn't really ideal. So what I like to do, in this case, when we've still got the Coltwing, and we summon back the Plague Spreader, I use the Plague Spreader and the token to go into another Roland. Now the reason for this is you get rid of the token 1, and then 2, you now have a pop with Roland during their turn and during your turn, because it's a quick effect. So it just allows for a little bit more aggressive plays if they can do something during their turn, which is very powerful, I feel. So this is the reason I play 2 Roland. You could technically cut it, like I said, but then you do end on that token. So we'll say that we go into our second Roland for this combo, and then Roland and the Coltwing 4 and 5 goes into the Charles. Then, because we've got our 5 waters engraved, let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can then special summon the Moulin Glacier, rip 2 random cards. Now remember, your Minstrel has also ripped a card. Then, when you go into end phase, you can decide how your effects resolve in the end phase. So what I like to do is I always make sure that Roland resolves first. So we dump our Smoke Grenade and we add our Ouroborea. Okay. Now at this point, if the card you ripped with Minstrel out of their hand is an important card for their combo or a starter for them, what you can do is you can say Minstrel, give back their card. Then you can use Charles' effect to equip the Smoke Grenade, pop the Smoke Grenade, and then you can rip the card that Minstrel originally ripped. However, if the card that Minstrel ripped is like an Impermanence or an Effect Veiler that could stop the Charles from ripping that extra card, you do the Charles first, and then you give them the card from Minstrel back into their hand. But yeah, this is pretty much the full board. You end on Crusader Arborea if you had no other cards in hand, which of course is impossible. You then have 2 Rolands engraved, which you can use for pop during their turn, and then you've got a negate. And they're playing with 3 cards, of which 2 you already know. And you pretty much decided which 2 they were going to keep anyway. So yeah, this is the full Infernoble combo. There is one other combo we can do where we end on Barload, Savage Dragon, and Calamities, which I will showcase now. And I think the general Calamities combo is quite well known at this point. The Metal Marcher summons back a level 3 instead of a level 2, and then you pretty much go straight into the Charles, and then the Plague Spreader, Auroradon, and one of the tokens you can then make into the Trish, and then you make Calamities. So that's the basic one. I will be showing the one where you can go into Barload as well as the Calamities. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the last combo of this deck profile. This will be the Calamities and Barload Savage combo. Unfortunately, it does not end on any cards ripped from hand besides the hand knowledge from Minstrel. You can rip 2 cards, but unfortunately then you will miss your next battle phase, which is not ideal, as you want to be able to kill them as quick as possible. So again, this combo revolves around the Deep Sea Diva. Your normal the Deep Sea Diva, Neptibus, Dragoons, Minstrel discard, look at their hand, get the hand knowledge, rip a card. Obviously at this point, if they're playing a back row deck, you'll want to go for the Infernoble combo. If they're playing a heavy monster deck, then you want to go for the Calamities combo. At this point, you probably want to add Lapis Dragon just because you want to keep your battle phase. But if you have another extender, you could potentially add the Minstrel and then summon an extender there, and then you could potentially still rip 2 cards out of their hand. You can still rip 2 cards out of their hand in the combo, but you do get rid of your Mermail Glacier, which means you skip your next battle phase, which means you give your opponent 1 or 2 turns to survive, essentially. But yeah, so in this case, we will go with our Lapis Dragon. Lapis Dragon summons itself, and then this is same old, then Karibo, Hulky Firebrax, Leg Spreader, Link Cross's effect, 2 tokens, Tribute, 1 token, then Karibo back, Synchro for 3, Martial Metal Watcher, summon back up Leg Spreader, Link 2, Blocker, Link 3, Rawdon effect, summon now 3 tokens, Synchro for 5. And at this point, you do go into a Roland. You don't have to activate its effect, but because we have 2, you can still activate it just to get that Ouroborea in the end phase as a plus. So activate Roland's effect. Effect of Rawdon, pop the 2 tokens. Summon our Coldwing, summon the 2 tokens. Go into an 8 here. Roll it Savage. Savage's effect, attaching the Hulky Firebrax. Then you will go Leg Spreader's effect, summon Leg Spreader and the Coldwing into our Charles, and then you banish for our Trishula, and then Trishula and the Charles into Calamities. So this is very, very strong because Impermanence hurts the Calamities by itself. If they top deck Impermanence, or if they've held on to the Impermanence, well, we would have seen the Impermanence anyway. But you can then stop the Impermanence, you can stop an evenly matched. It's just a little bit of backup to the Calamities, but like I said, you do not get those rips. If you do have 1 extender, you could potentially get the rips, because if you look here, you still have the 5 waters engraved, which means that at the end of this combo, if you say drew the Mermail Glacier, or if you had another water extender, it gets banished, so you can still summon the Mermail Glacier and rip 2 cards, which is even more powerful. And having another extender in hand is not unheard of in this deck. But yeah, that's pretty much the 2 main combos that I use with this deck. Going first, going second, you can fully OTK with the Infernoble combo. I think it's just over 10,000 damage, and you have that pop with the Roland anyway. So it's a very, very powerful deck, and I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Long overdue. Shout outs to the Mermail Facebook group. I'm sorry this video took so long. You all deserve it, and I hope this helped out a lot, and I will check you in the next one. Thanks, guys.